Hi, welcome to Beginning Engineers. Today I'm going to be talking about audits, and mainly how to survive them. This video was requested by Rocky Vitla, or Raki Vitla. I hope I'm pronouncing your name somewhat right. Now, I've covered some topics before, such as a QMS, a quality management system, and tools to measure the performance of employees in an operating facility, and those are all components that go into an audit. But this video will just focus on the process behind an audit, how to prepare for one, and what happens after. So first off, what is an audit? Well, whether it's TS 16949, ISO, OSHA, or even food safety, an audit seeks to determine whether your company processes adhere to a standardized guideline and that the locally established processes, so those processes that you've created, are documented and properly distributed to all relevant personnel. So there are some product certifications in this world, or equipment certifications, but most of the time, even with products or safety or particular items, it goes back to the process. If you want your food to be safe, you have people handle it well. If you want your car to be made right, you document how to make it well, and you follow those processes. An audit makes sure that those adhere to the guideline. So what actually happens with an audit? Well, an audit typically involves a representative from the official organization, so think ISO, think TS 16949, or more likely a certification body coming to your company's location. Sometimes it is a surprise visit, but oftentimes it is planned, especially with quality audits. This representative meets with multiple members of your company, reads over many sections of your company's standards, employee manual, policy guides, etc., to compare them with the national or global standards. It's all about mapping your local standards to the national ones to say, are you doing things the way this organization expects you to? You can also expect this representative, the auditor, to conduct interviews with people across your company, no matter how high up or how low they are in the hierarchy of the plant. They'll tour the plant floor and randomly sample data to compare to defined process methods. So something you'll hear in quality a lot, and it's especially true with audits, say what you do and do what you say. And then the inverse of that, do what you say and say what you do. So document all your processes, but then actually follow them. So the auditor will be looking to make sure you're actually doing what you're documenting, and that your documents align with the standards. And interviews are one way to find these things out. So how to prepare for an audit? When the auditor arrives, you want to be ready so that you can pass the audit. Have a comprehensive set of standards that matches what the official certification dictates. I've seen some companies literally copy half of their standard from the official one. So your quality management system, your manual for that, a lot of times will be very similar to the ISO 9001 guidelines. I think the most useful piece of advice, though, is to conduct internal audits. So internally audit against these standards as often as you can to make sure they cover every aspect of the certification required. This is your chance to pretend to be an official auditor from the certification body. Not only that, but it gives you items to improve upon throughout the year, not just during your main audits. These internal audits will help you identify areas where you need to improve your documentation or create some in the first place. Document as much as possible. The more you're documenting what you're doing and capturing data, the better prepared you will be. Say what you do and do what you say. And the more documentation you have, the easier it is to say what you do. What is an audit like? Actually going through one, what does that feel like? What happens? Building off of the points I mentioned earlier, imagine a quality audit. It's like giving a guided tour of your facility and many of its processes and people. So if you've ever been on a tour on vacation or at a museum, now's your chance to be the tour guide, and the thing you're showing off is your company and documentation. You should expect the auditor to ask questions about any process, no matter how random it may seem to what you are looking at. They will want to ask about data collection methods. They will want to conduct interviews with employees
outside the realm of documentation. So typically an auditor will meet with those in control of your quality management system or document control, because these are going to be the people best suited to see whether you adhere to the actual standards. But the auditor knows that typically those in quality and document control know the system well. They're going to want to talk to other people to see if they are even aware of your guidelines. Now, please keep in mind, I keep saying ISO or quality. This is true of almost any audit. If you have a safety inspector coming, sure, they're going to want to talk to your safety coordinator, but it also matters to them that everyone at your company is aware of your safety procedures. It is a good idea to let your company know the week that the audit will occur, and let your company know ahead of time so that you can prepare. And again, say what you do what you say. These should match all the time, always. What happens after the audit? In essence, your company either just finished a certification audit to become certified for the first time in an area, or just finished a surveillance audit to ensure that your company is still following the processes and heading in the right direction in terms of improvement projects. Generally, certification or recertification audits are more intense. Surveillance audits still involve an auditor coming to your site and asking a lot of questions to compare your standards against the national or global, but they're usually not as intense. Now, surveillance audits aren't just what you have the rest of your career once your company has become certified. Your certification will only have a set amount of time. So every 4, 6, or 8 years, you'll have to go through an entire in-depth certification audit again. Even if you're already certified, this is to recertify you. And in the off years, you go through the surveillance audit. The outcome of an audit are called findings, which the auditor will typically review with your company on site before they leave. In general, there's 4 broad categories of findings, at least for quality audits: praises, observations, non-conformances, and opportunities for improvement. And each one of these has its own definition and own implications. Going forward, what do you do to prepare for the next audit? Really, it's all about your findings. Praises. This is where the auditor says you have a great process, a great area of conformance, or you've improved from a previous audit. Praises are good to take note of and use as benchmarks for what you can do in other areas. An auditor may say they have an observation. This is an area close to being a non-conformance. This deserves very focused attention, because if you let it slip, it could become a non-conformance. Non-conformances. These are the most important areas to improve before your next audit. Non-conformances are an area where you're not complying with the regulation. These should be the main focus of all improvement activities and internal audits. If you don't have any non-conformances, you passed your audit. Opportunities for improvement. These will be suggestions from the auditor for areas that you can improve in. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. They may have a good example of how you can improve in an area that's easy and quick to do. Above all else, no matter what combination of these findings the auditor tells you about, listen to the auditor. Write down what they're saying. Write down their recommendations. Do what they say before their next visit, and they will be very happy. Even if it's not the same auditor coming back, they're going to have those notes of what the previous auditor said. And the auditor is the representative of the official body, or the official certification body. If you actually do what they say and improve your company, your score is going to go up. You will only get better. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you now understand how audits function a little bit better. How to prepare before the audit, how the audit will function when the auditor is at your site, and what to do afterwards to improve for the next time. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any good ideas for a video I should make next, leave a comment. And like the person at the beginning of this video, I might actually make a video based on your suggestion. Have a great day!